Hello, my name is Michael Ramos, and I have been in the real estate world for, my entire life. My family and I have done it all and seen more from real estate sales, construction, and property inspections. And in all this time, what fascinates me the most about this industry are the people and how they changed their dreams into realty success.
This program is brought to you by City Home Inspectors, your one-stop shop for all your home inspection needs.
Well, hello everybody, and thank you so much for tuning into this week's episode of From Dreams to Realty Success, where we share inspiring stories of top achievers in the real estate industry. Today we have Tanya Flores. Tanya Flores is a real estate broker, mentor, and speaker for the Tanya Flores team, brokered by Exp Realty. She takes pride in taking an integrated approach to help you buy, sell, or invest in real estate with the help of her partners. She provides free financial coaching to help women and modern entrepreneurs. She is currently mentoring agents who wish to grow a career in real estate and or financial services. Tanya, thank you so much for joining us today. I really do appreciate you coming in.
Thank you for having me. I'm super excited about this podcast, and to all of you listeners, I'm glad that you're tuning in.
So I do have a surprise segment I know I didn't tell you about. I actually have a letter from Baxter. So for those of you who don't know, Baxter is the owner of City Home Inspectors, and she is also my mother. And she studies the market and everybody in it. And this is what she had to say about Tanya. Tanya is an amazing being. She is always looking for ways to bring people together and help others. She is a great educator, very resourceful, effective, and organized. She's always a great negotiator. I admire her talents and skills. Clients will definitely be well informed throughout the process and end up with the best deal possible.
Thank you, Baxter. I admire you so much, and all the partners that you have involved with the business. I'm really grateful to be partnered up with City Home Inspectors. So that was a nice letter.
So we'll just go ahead and jump into it. I have my first question here is I understand that you had that you were an entrepreneur before you came into real estate. So I would like to know, how did your past entrepreneurship help you with your real estate process?
Yes, so I had been working in banking and was in corporate, Michael, and I'm like, that's it, I'm done. I had 2 young girls. I wanted to be able to get out when there was sunlight and I could take them to the park. And at the bank that I was working at, it was like 7 days a week. So I'm like, I'm gonna be an entrepreneur, right? And it's so funny because one of my coworkers said, you're going to be working more, if not more. And mark her words, that is correct. But yes, I was able to, take my girls to the park, and I've been able to do a lot and also learn a lot, which goes back to your question. So I've learned that although entrepreneurship starts off as a lonely journey, and sometimes they say it's, you're by yourself, but in order to really grow, you need to surround yourself with people that know more. So I'm in real estate now, right? But when I was running my business, I was running a printing company. My husband had already been doing graphic design. He'd been doing marketing services. So he was my mentor. And then he was building his sales coaching business, and he had mentors as well. So you need to be surrounded by people that know more than you.
That's kind of what I had to do my whole life, right? Just make sure everybody was a little smarter than me. And it's true. Yeah, you do want to surround yourself with those that are going to lift you up and teach you new things. So again, with the teaching, so you also do financial teaching.
Yes. Yeah. I was very fortunate. So I was co-author in a book, and I was able to connect with a friend who was in financial services while I was in real estate. And I just started noticing, Michael, that a lot of clients were not ready to make the purchase even though they wanted to. There was doubts because they felt their finances were not in the right place. So I saw an opportunity to be able to provide that component where we offer free financial coaching, and we guide you on like debt repayment strategies. The good thing, like I mentioned before, you're not by yourself. So I'm focused on real estate, but I'm able to refer these clients so they can get the right financial coaching. I am licensed in life and health, but you've got to focus on one thing, and then leverage your partners. And I have an amazing partner. So I love educating. I think they don't teach us enough in school. I asked my daughter, I don't know if you have young kids, for those of you that are listening, like, that's not a component. Life skills if you're very lucky, my girls have really good teachers and they teach them, affirmations and that. But financial coaching is not a piece of it.
Yeah, it's like when it comes to finances, the education system is figure it out. So and that's a big thing, because I know a lot of people, they don't really have, and this is something that I spoke in a past episode, they don't have, you don't learn about your credit until you mess it up. And that's when you have the lesson that, oh wait, I shouldn't do this and that, and then we have to do credit repair and it's all over. So yeah, that's the biggest thing for sure. But that's great. Yeah, so that's a great avenue, and I'm sure it does help with agents, especially with these people that are 1099s or self-employed people, learning how to do those finances, because that's something that I was like, oh wow, 1099 is, I was always an employee before I became self-employed, so it's a whole different ballgame when it comes to your taxes and everything. So making sure that you have those things in order for sure does help.
It does.
What did you learn from being a small business owner that helped you with your real estate career?
Yeah, so another thing that I learned, being a self-employed, goes back to finances, right? It goes back to that you start a business because you don't want to have a boss. At least that's what my husband started it. I wanted, more flexibility in schedule, but they don't teach you about profits, how to run a P&L, profit and loss statement. So sometimes what can happen to a lot of entrepreneurs, and this could be to realtors, you're working. Yes, you're generating a lot of money. In the beginning, you're probably not generating as much as you think, unless you're that exception to the rule, right? But you need to learn how to manage profits before, not to work yourself to exhaustion. So I have a very personal story, and I want to share it with you because I think it could help someone that's listening to the podcast today. So when my husband was running his sales coaching business, he was doing great. We're doing great. We had a team of 7, but he was working, not really taking care of himself, not doing the self-care, which is so important, making sure you drink enough water, meditating, managing the stress, because sometimes we absorb the stress. So he already had hypertension and pre-existing conditions, but we were just working. So that was what you're supposed to do as an entrepreneur, work. So one time, he's about to take the girls to school because I told him, hey, I've got some things to do. So supportive husband. He's like, yeah, just let me go take a shower. So I walk in and he is lying there and he's unable to move. So he had suffered a stroke very young, mid-30s, yes. And he was unable to read, to talk, all your working abilities. So I really urge you that, if you're working, and right now you're someone that's listening and not really taking care of yourself, really reassess, because if you don't have your health, you don't have the wealth, right? It's taken my husband, I think 6 years. He helps me with the editing now. He's amazing at that, and that's a big skill set. But really, I've heard other stories as well. Other people that, you work so hard, but at the end of the day, if you don't have your health or have your life, what is it to? So, I don't want to be gloom and doom, but I just want to have that reflection point that you've got to manage it as a business, and your business doesn't have to absorb your whole life. You have your family, you have your personal well-being, which is important, and you need to put that as a top priority, especially if you want to grow something sustainable.
Yeah, that's a great point. And then it's not really a doom and gloom story, because he did pull through, so he's fine now. Yeah, and then it took 6 years of recovery, and now he's back at it, right?
Well, he hasn't recovered his full speed, so he developed aphasia, but he's reinvented himself, right? And I think he's happy where he's at, so that's a good thing. But I hope it's a reflection story for someone, that is watching this and you know what? Yeah, I really need to reassess how I'm taking care of myself.
Yeah, that's a great point. And thank you for sharing that. I know those are hard stories to get out there for the public. So besides real estate, is there anything else that you're passionate about?
Yes, there's a lot of things.
Let's make the list.
I'm really into empowering women. I saw my mom as a single mom. So I think that, just seeing more women to have the equal opportunity, and real estate really provides that, right? You can invest in real estate. They say with no money, as long as you have partners, can find the money. And it can put you in an equal footing. You don't have to wait for that pay raise, right? Or for you to get paid equally as a man. No offense to you, Michael, or all the men listening.
My mother owns the company that I work for, okay? And I know that. So, yes, I'm all about empowering women. My mom was a single mom as well. I remember when her and my father got divorced, she had the house, but she couldn't afford it. So that's how she went and she sold the house and invested in a condo. And we went from one bedroom to the other while it was getting fixed, and fixing that condo, and we flipped that. And then it just started this whole thing. And that's when she got into real estate. So yeah, real estate does empower her. She was a corporate woman working in corporate, and the company went under, and she's like, what am I going to do? I'm divorced. I have 3 kids and I have this house that I can't afford. So she's like, I'm going to sell this house, buy a condo, and flip it. And that's exactly what she did. We kept on ever since. And that's why we're here today.
That is awesome. That is such a great story. That's why I admire Baxter so much. And she's really a testament that, if she could do it, anyone could do it.
Right.
So that's one of the things I'm passionate about, along with speaking. I love speaking. So I've really been enjoying, like speaking on this podcast right now.
I know. Yeah.
I love it.
Speaking to me too, speaking and writing has really helped me out a lot. I started, at first it was more like, comedy. I wanted to do comedy, but as I wrote out more, it's more like, like I want to tell stories. I want to like get these inspirations out there, to have empower people. I'm still writing my comedy. It's still something I'm working on. It's on the side. I had did a couple gigs here and there, but that's something that I'm always going to be passionate about. But yeah, I am really starting to like the stage and being able to talk to people for sure, and learning from everybody. That's the best part.
That's very cool, Michael. I didn't know that side of you. And I've been listening to Steve Harvey, and the way he started. He says, he's like, I've got 6 shows by God's grace, he said. And he's like, I got more than enough money that I need. And he started also doing like comedy stand-up gigs. Yeah, that's a skill that I wish I had. But, well, who knows? Maybe you can teach me some tricks later.
Yeah. Hopefully, if I get good enough, I'll be your comedy coach. How about that?
Sounds good. All right.
I gotta work on it though. I'm still a noob. So what are the things that you love most about real estate?
Yeah, I mean, the thing that I love the most is being able to make a difference for people. I get to work with so many different people, families who are like working so hard, right? Each of them, they're putting their money together to go from renter to getting that first single family house, and to be able to say, hey, you know what, your offer was accepted. And then to get to the closing table and say, hey, here are your keys. Like that just feels so good. And then, professional women, right? Like we talked about earlier, that are getting their first property. Right now, stats say that they're about 1 in 5 buyers. So all those single ladies are getting those buildings. Here's a tip for the guys. If you're thinking of proposing to women, I would say don't get her an engagement ring. Get her one that maybe is not so nice, unless she's really into like engagement rings. Get her the down payment for a property.
You don't need a wedding ring. You need a key ring.
Oh my goodness, that's such a great idea, Michael.
Yeah, that'll get her for sure. Hilarious. So so what would you say to someone that says that they want to become a realtor, but they don't know if this is if it's for them?
Yeah, I mean, I would say get around realtors. There's a realtor right now that actually started as an intern. I had an internship opportunity, and he was shadowing me, and now he's a real estate agent, and he's doing this full time. I do think there's a misconception, right? And I would say I also fell into that misconception when I got into the business. Like 2007, I got in, then got out, and then I'm back. But I'm like, oh wow, you can make so much money. Like these commission checks are big. But what you don't know is that there's a lot to running a real estate business. It is a business. You've got to do sales, marketing, there's operations. Fortunately, you can hire transaction coordinators to help with the paperwork, right? You've got to help your clients find the houses, negotiate. So there's a lot to it. I would say if you're getting into it and you've been like nudged at it, I mean, it is a low entry business, but you want to make sure you have the financial support, whether you've got a full-time job to get into it part-time. Sustainably, you want to be full-time, but maybe it's your way to start, because if you don't have parents, like I didn't have my parents to financially support me, but if you have your parents and you don't have rent that you need to pay, and you have that financial support, then get into it. Find a good team, a good company where you feel like you vibe with the people, and there's learning and education, because you're going to need to learn a lot, but you're also going to need to apply that and have conversations. It is a relationship business.
So, what do you think about EXP and what they offer? Do you feel like that's a good fit for a new realtor?
I think that Exp Realty offers a lot of training, and it does. They have icon trainings, so the top agents give back, and in Exp World, they have some really great workshops. I think that if you're starting off as a new agent, I would encourage you to look at EXP, but also look, are there teams within EXP that I could join? So right now I have an agent who's joining, and one of the things she decided to do is to join a team within EXP. So you have to interview. That means that yes, you're going to be getting less compensation in the beginning, but you're going to be working alongside other real estate agents that are successful, and you can learn their processes, you can learn what they do to be able to help clients, and this way you can guide clients the better way.
So the commission is lowered, but the experience is priceless. The knowledge that you would receive, so definitely it would be worth it for sure. That's great. Awesome. So in your coaching career, I wanted to ask, what do you feel are like the biggest obstacles that keep people from achieving their goals?
I would say there are two major ones. One is your identity, right? What do you believe that you're capable of? And sometimes in the beginning, when you don't know, right, or especially if you're going into a new career, I imagine when probably Michael, you were going into being home inspecting, business, and you're completely new. There's like so many things you don't know, so you don't feel as confident about it. I know that's how I felt when I was in real estate in the beginning. But as you continue doing the work, you're going to start to see the results, and having people believe in you also builds a belief. So you do want to be in a culture where people believe in you. And why not? I just always ask myself, if someone else could win, why couldn't it be you? The question is, that moves on to number two. Are you willing to do the work that it requires? Because there is work, there is sacrifice. And I'm not talking about like, oh, I have to sacrifice my family and my health. No. You've got to make the calls. You have to block out that time, because if you don't have those conversations, your business becomes dry. So just having those consistent actions that your coaches are telling you to do are going to lead to the results. So number one, believe, and number two, are you willing to do the work that your coaches are telling you, so you can see the fruits of your labor?
I feel like that's probably the biggest issue that people have is consistency, is being consistent. Like, because now with the internet and how everything is going, everything is so fast. So you need to keep on posting. You need to keep on moving and keep on showing what you're doing, because people forget, there's always someone else posting something. So I think consistency is a big thing. You need to be on it for a certain amount of time. You know what I mean? Then people start recognizing, putting you like, oh, that guy does that, But if I just post like once a week and or once, and then I don't post anymore, like, you need to be consistent with social media as well.
Yeah, that social media is a big one.
It's huge.
Yeah, it's branding, it's everything, right? But you still need to have those conversations, right? Because you get all those leads, you don't talk to the leads, or they're just gonna go find somebody else.
So I did want to get into something that I talked to Baxter about before I got on with you. She kind of mentioned how you guys met. You guys met at one of your coaching events. So you were on the stand. You guys spoke briefly, but she was like, that's when she knew. She heard you speaking up there, and she's like, wow, she's gonna she's gonna really like you have a way with your speeches and everything. So she said like, wow, she's gonna make it, and you really inspired her, and that's what really got her with the speaking for us and everything. So yeah, I wanted to thank you for that. But yeah, it's a quick conversation we had. I was like, yeah, I got Tanya this morning, and she's like, oh my god, I remember when I met her. So I always like call her and talk about the people that are gonna come on and everything. So we had a good conversation. But yeah, so glad that we got to do this. This is great. Do you have? So that's what I wanted to get into, your YouTube channel.
Sure. So you can go on TanyaFlores.tv. I would say that's the hub of it, and you can find me on Tanya Flores TV or the TF team for the real estate side. But yeah, just we're publishing videos on real estate, on finances, money tips. And then I love the motivational stuff, right? We want to be encouraged to keep growing our businesses, because there's days that it's not the best day, and you've still got to push through, right? Your family's counting on you, your clients are counting on you. So I hope to see you there, and I'm really grateful for this opportunity to be here with you, Michael. I think, as I mentioned before, Baxter is someone that I admire, and yourself too, how you're working together as a family. I think that is an example for other businesses, because it's not easy, right? But everyone's bringing different strengths to the table. So I admire you guys so much.
Thank you so much. Yeah, working with family, it has its moments, but yeah, we tend to stick together, and everything is pretty good. And we all found our niche. Like my brother's good with the guys, I'm more good with the agents. My sister's more good with the accounting. So it's like we were born to do this, I swear. So it's going very well. I'm very happy with everything, and it all comes with you guys too. Our agents, I always say, like, we're as good as our best agents, because you guys are what brings it to us. So we're very grateful for all of you. But yeah, thank you so much for coming in. This was a great episode. I'm very excited to get this one out. Do you want to besides the Tanya.tv, is there any other way that people could get a hold of you that's listening today? If they wanted to call you or email you, how would they be able to get a hold of you?
Sure. So the number is 773-234-8022. So 773-234-8022. Text and call is best.
Perfect. Okay, cool. Yeah, I will definitely have Tanya's information in the description below. And after we fade to black here, we're going to have her business card and everything on the screen for a couple minutes. So if anybody didn't get her number, it's going to come up soon. Yeah, but we're all set. Thank you so much for coming in, Tanya. You're an inspiration, and this was a great conversation. This is great.
Thanks for being here. Thanks for listening. Make sure you share this podcast so that your other fellow colleagues can as well listen to the other episodes. I'm excited to hear those.
Oh, yeah. Thank you so much, Tanya.